take fine, 2 minutes per speaker on public agenda, public business, so there for your, public announcement. At this time, roll call please.
Ready? Here.
Rickle.
Molina,
Here.
Miller, Mitchell,
Here.
Keel.
Here.
Cool.
Okay, next item will be the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Father, we thank you for allowing us to be here today. We ask for your help in conducting the business. And we ask that you take care of our many people who are ill right now. Some of our students are suffering from cancer. And we also ask that you look over our village employees and any other employee working along the highways and doing dangerous work. Amen. The next item is 1.25 approval of absence. Should I get approval of Angela Cook being absent of sickness? And Jennifer is at a softball game, baseball game for a family. So at this point in time, can I get approval to approve Angela, please?
I'll make the motion to. For listing fees, that's.
Yes.
What's it again?
Any more discussion? If not, roll call please.
Molina,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Ready? Yes. Miller.
Yes. Okay. Next item is approval of consent agenda with one correction. I want to move the Great Lakes Chili down to the discussion item. Okay. I get a motion on that. Oh, sorry. Bill be paid for $41,268.85. I'll make a motion, but I got first, I guess second, please.
I'll second.
Got first, second, any discussion? Tony?
That would have been. First one, and I know it's about social media and. We'll go here with this very help on Instagram. I'm all for that, more we get out there, the better. But my concern is anytime I bring up, we should post it, I would get the excuse of the time thing, let one of the excuses, don't have time, nothing. I like to see the Facebook page utilized properly. Before we kind of move on to another one. Now, read in the public participation plan. Says, social media will update audiences on project progress, distribute meeting notifications, solicit feedback from surveys, acknowledge general comments, and or generally engage and inform the public. So I feel we're doing probably about half thing. There's meeting notification. I like to see like the planning commissions, the PDA, maybe them. And I might attend some of the meetings if there's an agenda item that interests me. If I don't see what happens in the meetings till I get through minutes. I work a busy schedule, but I make time if that's something interests me. And I mentioned too that anything that goes on the website should also go on the Facebook page. Like, and mention put compost out, just basic information on Facebook. I like the nice fun bubbly stuff on Facebook, and the public seems to like that too, pictures of flowers and all that, but I like to get some general information out there, like, I wanna know where recycling day was and all that. And, throw Mr. Perry over the bus a little bit here, and we're having a discussion, an email discussion about what's the YouTube video recording on the Facebook page, which I intend on making that an agenda item in the next coming months. Be prepared, get your legal team or whatever for that. Look, you mentioned, I mentioned something about how Facebook is more effective. Replied, without a doubt, Facebook has a greater reach. After all, who wants to go to our board website? No offense to our website. So I'd just like to see more utilization of that Facebook page for information. And that takes me on to the next thing about the Chase Bank parking lot. It's on the DDA minutes. And I was going through the zoning ordinance, researching another matter regarding parking. I come across this. Any person desiring to establish or change a parking area shall submit plans to the zoning administrator showing the location, size, shape, design, landscaping, surfacing, marking, lighting, drainage, curb cuts, entrances, exits, and shall be approved through the site plan review process as described in this ordinance. We'll get to that a little bit later. Well, one of the things I noticed were under landscaping for parking, with a minimum of 5% interior landscaping shall be required for any parking lot exceeding 50 parking spaces. That parking lot currently at 30 has 3 rows of 10 spaces, so you add 20 more spots, you're gonna have to have some interior landscaping. And that says a landscaping strip of 6 feet in width shall be provided with the parking lot and once a right of way. The landscape strip shall be planted with shrubbery, trees, and ground cover. There shall be 1 tree for every 40 feet of landscape strip. You have about 160 feet of landscape strips, so do the math, get 4 trees in there. Just plant the trees with my overhead lines there on Chili Street. That brings me to the last one, 5-foot parking issue. That I've had several complaints about it, and I've been trying to dig into that. And says right in our zoning ordinance, a retail store, so one spot per 100 square feet. That building is a little over 1,000 square feet. That would make, that you have to require 10 spots. And
Is that retail space or is that
the usable space.
storage, usable space?
So. It's stored, you're using it, so.
That's not what it's defined.
Usable space is referred to as, I'm talking right now, hold on. And it says the village council shall appoint a zoning administrator to carry out the day-to-day administration and enforcement of this ordinance. And one of the duties in there is compliance. Zoning administrator shall be responsible for determining compliance with site plans and other approved zoning permits. And this is here's the stipulations for how they review site plans. All the site plans shall use the following set of standards. And it goes on a list. Only one of them is zoning district regulations. The project must comply with the applicable zoning district regulations regarding use, dimension, off-street parking, and any other aspect of development. So I'm not even sure how this got approved through all this, through all these steps. And this sounds like someone's not doing their job. Just collect his paycheck. And then the last one is ultimately enforcement of this ordinance. So the zoning administrator or any other officer of the village is designated by the village council to enforce the provision of the ordinance. Here's the kicker, here's the big one. Or any person or persons aggrieved by any violation thereof may institute a suit in court of competent jurisdiction to restrain a person or governmental unit who violated the provisions of the ordinance or take any other legal action permissible for the enforcement thereof. So I know you guys always worry about legalities and liability and lawsuits and all that. We're setting ourselves up for one. That was our biggest concern with the whole marijuana store. Now we're gonna get sued over not having enough parking spaces. Because, I mean, I'm not sure even how it got approved, but that's all I have. But one more thing, I say it a lot, I've said it numerous times, rules without enforcement are words on paper. So I'm not one for rules and regulations, but as Mr. Fischel mentioned about sign ordinance, you're not gonna enforce it, repeal it, do away with it. Let's be like a wild, wild west. I don't care. That's all I got.
Any other comments on consent agenda? If not, I have roll call. Official,
Yeah,
Ready,
Yes. Medina,
Yes.
Miller.
Yeah.
Keel.
yes. Next item is approval of regular agenda. Can I get a motion to do that?
And what do we do with it now, after somebody makes a motion?
And then come next motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting agenda.
I'll second that.
I got first, second, any discussion?
Yes, sir. Well, these are just typos, but, and maybe one isn't, I don't know. But on the village of Rock Common Council sidewalk resolution, about halfway down the page, it says Rock Common Village Manager to secure bids out for the construction of such sidewalk. Is that out? Is that? I don't understand that.
Are you looking at the agenda?
Well, I'm looking at, this is it.
Then it's on the resolution itself, you say.
If the resolution is part of the
You're
agenda.
looking at the agenda and you want a little clarification on what it said.
Yeah, and. Secure bid, it's about halfway down the page around. So whereas it shall be the responsibility of the Rocktown Village Manager to secure bids out for the construction of such sidewalk. Sound, it sounds like something I would be criticized for using my Pennsylvania slang.
Oh, it is up for a bid.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's. I mean, we can get by with that. Reading it from the agenda. Reading it up,
It's in the agenda package itself, it says it's, you know, the resolution itself.
it's back in their back ways, to the doc.
It's
Yeah.
the documents.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Oh,
That's for new business.
yeah, it doesn't have, do you know what happened? But there it is.
It's responsible manager secure bids, kills all for construction.
Okay, so it doesn't make sense.
Then the probably. $15 and order of construction.
And then the other one. Okay, whatever you want to do with that, then down further, the last part, the last sentence in that group, it says. The final word is, well, the final cost of such construction of a sidewalk will be charged against the appropriate sidewalk. And it says here, fine, should be fine.
Yeah.
That's all. No big deal with it.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments on the regular agenda? If not, roll call please.
Medina,
No.
Fisher.
Yes.
Miller.
Yeah.
Tito,
Yes.
right, yes.
Okay, let's start here.
Thank you. Like, welcome everyone. It's nice meeting. Thank you for taking time to come in. Things that, really happy to see on our, want to congratulate our chamber for pulling off a nice event a week ago. The, Summerfest Cornhole Tournament, Curtain Warmer Festival, car show, community drive sale, farmers market, everything. It brought a lot of people to town and it was a nice way to kind of kick off, the summer season. So I want to thank again the chamber for all their hard work. The village outfitters last weekend had their second annual kids fishing day. And it was a nice turnout. They had probably 45 kids, 44 or 45 kids show up. Kids received a tackle box, tackle and fishing pole and such. Then they went down to the river and spent some time fishing and lunch was provided and it was all guided and did a nice job and I'd like to congratulate them. Also the sponsors would like to give a shout out. We have some local sponsors that help pull this off with the village office. So thank you again. Just a little update on the Higher Mountain project. We are ready to meet with the MEDC board. That will be on the 25th of June. The purpose of the board is to seek additional funds for the project. We're requesting $300,000 in additional funds. And one of the reasons why we are requesting that is when we started this project, the cost of everything has skyrocketed so much. So what we originally budgeted for a few years back is now not fitting in with our program, so hopefully, they will, work with us here and we can get some additional funding. That project is scheduled to start, the first part of August. And while that project is under construction, the Hiawatha portion of that project will be off. It's to all of this, once they start construction, they need to keep it rolled off and stuff like that, so we'll have signage put up there and take care of. The master plan update. Our original master plan had 8 chapters in it, we now have 9. We have chapters 1 through 7 completed. Chapter 8 is and 9, we have to go through. One of them is deals with housing. That's going to be the new chapter that's in our master plan. One of the reasons why we want to add housing in there, as we have groups that come forward that want to seek funding for additional housing in the village. When you apply for grants, they always refer back to your master plan, so we thought for the time of this, it would be a good time to do that versus waiting 5 more years and do this opportunity. So we have 2 more chapters to go. The planning commission's working hard on that. Hopefully, we can have that done at our meeting this month, and then we'll have summaries and reviews. We'll have to have a public hearing on that. So we're well scheduled to have that done by the end of the year, but we set the preliminary goal of October, so hopefully we can get it done ahead of time. And our annual 5 Families meeting, we had some good discussion, a lot of information was shared. I'd like to thank everyone that attended. The 5 Families meeting again is a recorded meeting for Planning Commission and the DDA to seek public input and to share goals and projects and such. Our next one will be Thursday, the 17th of October. We have 2 a year. The state requires that we have 1. We schedule 2. In our packet later on this during the meeting, we'll go over the EDA grant proposal of the EDA's Environmental Development Administration. We're in the process of writing a grant for that. That's a 60/40 grant. That grant is targeted to put infrastructure throughout the industrial park at $3.5 million. And later on in the meeting, we'll get into more of the discussion from Lisa Vanderbrick and how we have to go about it. We have already submitted a good portion of the application, but some of that copy studies and stuff like that, we'll have to have Lisa Vanderbrick give us a hand with that. Rick Birch and myself, every year we sponsor or we host our Whitetails Unlimited banquet here in our community, for our community. This last year we had a real successful banquet. We we get a kickback from that from the earnings of that night, and this year we received over $10,000, and that money needs to be spent or has to be spent on either child related programs that might be outdoor wise. For example, they were partial sponsors of the free fishing weekend of the outfitters. We also try to help out local veterans as well. The Farmers Memorial, they raised funds by putting on what's called the European Pheasant Hunt, and it's held tickets to that. So Whitetails, who either sponsorship, purchase 3 of the tickets that they can raffle off, so it doesn't cost them money to buy their auction item there. We also donated some money to up at Camp Reardon property. They like to build 2 lines that are handicapped accessible, so disabled veterans can go up there and the deer hunt when they're not season. We donate money to hunter safety programs and also fishing programs over the whole lake of Falls Rock Town. So just let you know that that money, if that's raised, it all stays in local and we'll find means for it all. So I'd like to thank Rick for his all work and helping us put that on. If any of you have good connections, I might need a little prayer tonight. That's something Mother Nature called for maybe a little frost. Our plants are pretty hardy, but I can see it here not long we're saying there might be a little frost in that area tonight. So we'll try to get out there early tomorrow and start the watering to warm them up. So anyway, but the flower beds are all looking good. I want to thank all the volunteers for their help. If you didn't know this, our compost is starting some evening hours on Thursday nights from 3 to 7. And so we have to need to dispose of yard waste or anything at that time. It is all open in the evening. Tomorrow I'll be attending the MEDC Educational Forum for Districts 2 and 3 in Gander. That forum is annual meeting. This year, the agenda, we're going to talk about economic development strategies, resources, site readiness. We're going to talk about the housing initiative that Michigan is providing now. So I look forward to sharing that information with you at that moment. At some point, and I'd like to host a meeting with any council members that want to attend. DDA Planning Commission, and talk a little bit about our mixed use property. And we have approximately 20 acres of residential mixed use and 20 acres on highway commercial across the street from Lear M18. We're starting to get some interest in that property, but the big question that I'm asked on is how much you want to sell a lot, or how much you can buy the whole thing and such. And I know I have my thoughts on which way we need to go on that, but I guess I'd like to get some more input to see what you're doing at as well. So I'll send out an email scheduling a meeting that maybe we can sit down and just discuss this and see what we want to do. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Rob?
Ron, and just I will comment down. As far as your flowers, I'm not concerned about the opportunities. I heard this from Ken Melvin 30 years ago. He used to flower flowers. Petunias will take a mile, not a heavy frost, but I've had petunias blooming here right up to Christmas. They got covered with leaves, but and the same with some geraniums. I used to get them out of the window boxes from Shirley at Owned Spruce Lodge. Every fall she'd say, come over and get them now. She was done with them. And I got some out right about that time also, about Christmas time. Okay. So some of those will, if they don't get hit, like those geraniums are under a roof, window. But anyway, I don't think they have a whole lot to worry about. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other comments for Ron? If not, we'll move on to the next item, which is public acknowledgement on agenda items. 2 minutes per speaker. Yes, sir.
My name is Virginia Klaus. My husband and I own the property at 409 North 6th Street, Rock Common, Sydney, Maine. We wish to protect our tenants' rights of possession. I wish to comment on item 5 of the Planning Commission minutes of 5/20/24 regarding 5 plus potential difficulty with owners of the parking lot. Since my family purchased the property in 1958, we have paid taxes, insurance, and maintenance of the parking lot we constructed for our customers. On September 12, 2022, we learned of the village plans to open a retail marijuana store possibly at 420 North Fourth Street, the property adjacent to our property. On September 13th, 2022, I sent a letter to Ron Alden asking what the provisions were for parking at that address. To date, I have not received an answer to that inquiry. I also stated our expectation that the village mitigates negative impacts such as loitering on traffic. On May 3rd, 2024, we visited Five Buzz to suggest an agreement regarding Five Buzz use of our parking lot. Sean Brabant and another employee who refused to identify himself to me told me they would not sign any agreement or restriction on parking. On 3 different days for a total of 5 hours, I witnessed 58 vehicles using our parking lot whose drivers entered only 5 Buzz. This is nearly 12 vehicles per hour, for one almost every 5 minutes. Most of these cars ingress and egress from Fifth Street through our parking. I close with a question. Why did the village ignore its zoning ordinance and issue a permit to open a business without required parking?
Thank you. Anybody else?
You're good, well, I think hi, my name is Christian Marcus. I'm actually a resident of Antrim County, but I hear you're talking about, you're referencing bunch of zoning ordinances. One of the main reasons why I'm here is to acknowledge the fact that I'm running for your Michigan House of Representatives in 105th District. And local government is exactly why I'm running, is what you guys are talking about here today. And what's happening in Lansing is actually the opposite. More and more things are being taken from us at our local level where we can have this discussion. I'll give you a perfect example. Just about a month ago, that solar districts were developed. That was normally something that you and I would have a discussion for township, local, village level. Now today, the government state level has basically taken it from us and used money in a way to entice our boards to come into by state compliances in order for them to apply their new agendas. These are the kind of things that should not happen. As a commissioner for 10 years, as a township trustee, as a former sheriff reserve deputy, I know what it's like to be working in local government and represent local government. I sat on the board of directors for the Michigan Association of Counties for 7 years. I fought nonstop ever since I was an MTA member of my township till just recently, trying to keep local control where it belongs so that we have a better voice and represent the people. And right now it's not happening. And my current representative is not doing that either. He's actually voting for that new ordinance that took place, a new law that took place recently. So I just want to introduce myself again. My name is Christian Marcus. I'm a resident of Antrim County, and I'm running for the 105th District for the House of Representatives. I'll give these to one of you guys if you don't mind passing around. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. We'll look at election. Any other public announcement? If not, we'll move forward to unfinished business. DPW report. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. So I want to start off with something. Normally, as soon as spring hits and it warms up, we get the cemetery's water on. Took us a little bit longer to get it on this year because we've had breaks that we're dealing with in the fall. Still in the spring. The newer side, that is next to the Metro Park is up and running now. So next, our plan would be to start to make a plan to run it back to that new section. I'm not sure exactly how long it'll take. We'll need to figure out exactly what we want to do. But right now it's looking like we want to at least get a couple of spigots back there to make it more accessible to any of the plots in that back section. And then as far as the decorative streetlights, I have been back and forth with trying to communicate with a couple of different electricians. As of right now, one of them I'm not in contact with anymore, so I think we're gonna go with Blanchard Contracting, which they're familiar with everything. He's been communicating very well. So right now I'm just waiting to get on the signal. He's working that out with me and will get back with me as soon as he has some dates for us. We're gonna start here on Lake Street first and then just see how it continues, how far we get this year. Because it is gonna be more of an hourly kind of thing. Not sure exactly how long it's gonna take, but it's a starting point. Beyond that, the guys have been mowing like crazy, the grass is growing a lot. So pretty much the whole crew's been out helping Jerry. And then just normal rounds and, you know, things are stuff, so. Oh, yeah.
Any questions for Debbie? Go, Tony.
I've been thinking about the cemetery water issue. Rambling last meeting. It's hard to run water lines in the cemetery. Then we had that water project last year, didn't they? Built some kind of pipe through the old pipe. Or the sewer.
It's for sewer, they did a lining and it was on the mains, not just a little water line. I get what you're saying though, that wouldn't be a bad idea if it was something that we could do.
There's one thing I was thinking, I mean, because there's some water out in the winter, all
Yes,
we don't have to go 14 or 5 feet or whatever, you can make a shallow water line.
right, which is actually how they are. And that's probably what we will do with the new section as well. But we want to make sure that when we do it, it's gonna be able to get cleaned out. We don't want breaks there. Because even though we turn it off and let it drain out in the winter, obviously there's still getting cracks and breaks in it. I can't tell you, we fixed a number of them last fall. And then to start with, even with doing that, we had some stuff with the line going into the meter pit. So, you know, it's stuff that we're working through, it's just the lines are so old right now. So that's something we have to consider with splitting it off to go in there to the new section as well. But we are in the works of it, so.
The water line in all the new sections.
We're probably just gonna go straight down the middle, that way, kind of be easy access for everybody. That way, if we do need to make repairs or change anything in the future, we can kind of run off of that, so. Just a starting point to get water back there at least, so.
Sounds like a good plan. Any other questions for Deb? If not, we'll move on to the next one. Thank you, Deb. Next is Economic Director Report, Mr. Ferriello. Here, madam.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. I love seeing these big crowds on a gorgeous day to the DPW and your crew. Debbie, the village looks wonderful. Thank you for all the hard work that they do. Speaking of looking good, I want to just remind everybody on the council and in the audience that our DDA has a facade grant program, and I just want to reiterate that this program is a $5,000 match for signs, frontage, painting, so on and so forth. This grant is not necessarily competitive, but if you check all the boxes, generally you don't get turned down. And it can be requested or applied for once a year. And I know there's some business owners in the crowd here and on the board, so let's make use of that money that the DDA intends to brighten up our tune and make it look beautiful. And I make some comments about making it look beautiful here in just a moment. We also have two businesses that have gotten to stage 2 of the MOM grant, the Match on Main program. We're still waiting. As a matter of fact, they say the first, second week of June to hear back on that. And so we're waiting on that any day now. And both of those grants were written to improve things like outdoor seating, new signage. In addition to our facade program, this state Match on Main grant does allow for a lot more flexibility indoors and outdoors. So we're hoping that at least one of our businesses wins that grant. We've been pretty good. I think 2 out of the last 3 years we've had a match on Main grant winner at the state level. So the village on June 6th, last Thursday, we hosted a couple actual pretty big meetings. We had a breakfast meeting here. There's a new program. It's going to cover the 6 counties. We are in the bottom left county, so Crawford, Otsego, and over, Ogama, Montmorency, Oscoda. Anyway, 6 counties of free business consulting. It's through the Saginaw Valley State University Small Business Development Center. And they hired a new business consultant. They introduced that consultant to a group of our village leaders. Some of you in the crowd were here for that. And that went really well. We really hope in Roscommon to take advantage of that free consulting. If you know somebody that wants to start a new business or is a veteran at running a business, but you still have some questions, I think one of the great things we talked about was you could run a small business for 30 years, but you never exit plan. You know, what's going to happen when you leave? Is it going to be your children that are going to take over that business, or are there going to be some trust and legal issues and so forth? And so any type of business at any maturity level could use these services. And so if you think that that's something that might interest you, please reach out to me here at the village and we can put you in contact. We also hosted later that same day a luncheon here in this hall. The Michigan Economic Development Corporation is split regionally, and we hosted a regional meeting here. We got to showcase our town. A lot of the people that came from out of county, out of city, throughout our region to come to this meeting, got their first opportunity to be in this village hall and in our downtown. They were quite impressed when we gave them a tour. So I was very proud of that. Before I transition to our village intern, Russell, who's going to give a brief presentation on a concept, historic district zoning. I want to just throw a little clip up from the First Impressions Tourism Assessment. For those of you that don't know, Roscommon County was the first county to do a county-wide tourism assessment. And when they say first impression, they literally mean let's take 5 people who've never been to Roscommon County and let them go. And let them go in St. Helens and Roscommon and Houghton Lake. And what are your thoughts? Did you eat here? Did you visit this park? Was there good signage? Did you know how to get around and access to recreation? Just a bevy of different topics that they looked at. And they gave us results through these video conferences. And again, many of you were at the video conference. I think that was probably the first time I saw a tear in Councilman Medina's eye when he left that assessment or presentation, as it was pretty positive. Tears of joy. Tears of joy, sure. And so I just have a brief. This is an hour long, more than an hour long. There were a lot of parts we would love to show you. They were very complimentary to many aspects that we've got going on, not just in this downtown, but in our greater Higgins Lake, Roscommon area. So I'm just going to roll about a 60-second clip here that you guys can watch that.
Roscommon feels like a nice little village, a nice little downtown with many smart restaurants and shops. There were walking around, a lot of traffic. Mostly farmers, behind an area. 5 o'clock, turn my car, they walk around and see all the traffic. So downtown, more than I was expecting. So it's been furniture, listen to my mentor information. A lot of several interesting little group, which swim strong food selection by small town businesses. This is definitely one place I would stop to have a look around. I visited twice and was glad to see the community, as healthy on the surface as could be. I enjoyed seeing the banners and the giveaway signage as well. It was easy to navigate and enjoy outside of the car. And then lastly,
This extended video can be seen, I'll put it up on Facebook, Tony. And you can also see the one for St. Helen and Fulton Lake as well. But this continues, he talks about things like the restaurants that he visited and going to the Hagen Nature Center and how that was so surprisingly cool for being within a city, a village limits. So lots of great stuff. I hope that if you have not, if you did not attend that, take a look at it. It will make you proud. But one of the main reasons that we did this was for constructive criticism, and there is some constructive criticism in there, and there are some things that we would like to address along the way. And so that's it for my little report. I want to introduce everybody. Village Council is actually, I believe, his first day. Russell, your meeting 1 month ago. Russell comes to us from University of Michigan and Singapore, and he is an urban planning major. And he decided he did have two larger internships, Singapore itself and Detroit, no, London, and so. He worked with Community Garden, and he's doing a great job helping out Maureen and her crew at the Community Garden, teaching kids about composting and spreading some ideas about some larger urban gardens in bigger cities and so forth. Russell's also evaluating zoning, planning and zoning. And one of the things that he had discovered is a process that a village could go through. Some of you remember some of the things like, and I won't say this too sarcastically, how our beloved Dollar General across the street replaced two historic buildings, and there are other historic buildings in our village limits that aren't necessarily protected. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe move out of the way for development. Maybe not. That's a question for this council, this planning committee. But Russell has some information about that, and he's going to give us a brief little presentation. So, planning intern Russell, you want to use this mic? Yeah, I'll use it.
Just to clarify, this isn't necessarily something that is zoning. This is more of like a writing it into ordinance. Forming a committee to have like a permit program, another step on. So we're not necessarily changing anything zoning, just to be clear. But the effects are somewhat similar. So just like what Jim said, I arrived here about 1 month ago. I heard stories about the Sonic Lodge. We have a BC diner, BC pizza around there. There was a diner too that was demolished. And that building now it's kind of like in somewhat disrepair. And usually that's kind of how old buildings kind of go. It's not violent and sudden. Most of the time it's mostly slowly, and then when it's been preserved, there's nothing left to preserve. So what I'm trying to say is that basically today buildings could be demolished without any requirement to maintain any sort of plan. And something that want to know whether the community is interested in picking up is, in the future where buildings are protected, they require approval for any extensive modifications like demolishing or changing the facade. So, how exactly does having a historical district protect our buildings? So as I mentioned, first of all, we need to write this ordinance. So within this ordinance, it is a legal protection for buildings that are within the district that fit a certain criteria. I'll go into it later. Approval from the local council. In addition to the council itself, we have to form a historical district committee. And then ultimately, the most important part is that we get funding for the projects in complete. So being part of this, something that's called Certified Local Government Program will give us access to funds, especially for the rehab of buildings and surveying and educating the public about historical buildings. So it's a really long procedure, but I kind of simplified two main steps that we have to do at the same time. The first thing is we need to pass a district ordinance. So luckily for us, the State Historical Preservation Office has like a template for us to follow. If anyone's interested, I will set it out in detail, about 10 pages long, not too long. So within it, we need to appoint a historical commission, a historic commission for a population about 5 to 6 people. We will also prepare a historic survey, a preliminary one detailing all the buildings that we think are historically significant, and also the district line that we want to draw. They don't have to be connected. Again, these are the details I'll be happy. I can tell you guys the truth, but it's just like a big picture. We'll have to send the report to the State Historical Preservation Office, and ultimately we need to adopt ordinance. So at the same time this is happening, we'll join something called the CLG, which I mentioned earlier. The reason why we do this is the only one criteria that we need is to have this ordinance written. Once we have that, we will receive free funding, sorry, not free funding, free support to help us have the report done, and ultimately to receive the support and funds that we need to, build the buildings that we have, make sure they're like up and running again. So this is a rough timeline depending on how fast we can do things, but I'm looking at cost, in about 3 months' time, we can pass the ordinance, we can appoint the historical commission, then we can start the preliminary report. So what that will mean is we go around town, we go to buildings, we take an inventory. This is the year it was born. This year was born. Sorry, this is the year it was constructed. The material that was made, and there's 4 criteria that that the State Historical Preservation Office looks for. So at the same time, we have to apply for the CLG, 3 different months. After the approval, we basically will have expedited support to approve, to create inventory, and ultimately pass ordinance. So the ultimate end goal is that we have a district zoned out, and then any further extensive modification will require approval from the committee. So I know this is a big question now. So what's in it for the village? What do we have to do? Do we have the capacity? These are really good questions, and ultimately, I'm not in a position to answer. I would like to ask a question to you guys. If you know somebody who might join the committee, please let them know. We can chat, bring them over. Let's have a big discussion. So the responsibility that we have to do as a village is ultimately we have to come up with a survey and a plan. We have to stick to CLG's annual requirements, establish 4-year goals, prepare an annual report, cooperate with the office. Some like things that Jim is super familiar with MEDC. So any things you can just ask him to. Ultimately, pass the ordinance, meeting and have quarterly meetings. I'm simplifying things, but these are the most tedious one that I identified. So one of the benefits, ultimately, we will get state support to prepare the surveys and the documents for us to have the district. We have housing rehab opportunities, will be national mission. In fact, if we were to pass this, we'll be the first municipal in Northeast Michigan to have a historical district. The first one. So it's pretty cool. And ultimately grants available only to CLG governments. So this is especially for the rehab opportunities. So just to recap, the next steps, if anyone is interested in taking this on, we have to have the code, we have to appoint, and we have to start the survey. So specifically, what does that mean, starting the survey? Well, the state people will come in around early July to have a walkthrough. I can talk with them, we can all have a chat together to actually talk about what does the survey look like. But just getting the ball rolling, see if the community wants this. If not, I can push further, I can have a step-by-step plan. And you guys will have to take it from there, because I'll be going mid-July. So yeah, should I open up a question time or should I do this later?
You can take questions. Actually, you're gonna take us out, so you're gonna come back. In July, you're gonna come back with full time?
No, I don't have to for 1 year and come out again.
Technically. Till the end of July.
Mid-July.
So
Just to understand that he's just throwing this out there. There's no huge, gotta do this, gotta do this. It's. He's not gonna be here, and you think that this is something that is important to the village. Let's move forward. If not, that's okay too. It is a somewhat tedious process. And 0 cities in northeast Michigan have gone through this. process.
any questions for us from the council?
I'd just like to say I'm really impressed with Ross. I've only met him a couple of times. And yeah, he's out and we're very much to have him there.
Thank you for having me here.
Man, got a question?
No, I have a comment. I met with Russ today. I would echo Dan's comments about it. He is really researched this. I'm Laura Sherman, by the way, Laura DeWitt Sherman. Wants to know it. He's really researched it. He's put a lot of effort into understanding what this would take to do. We talked about the benefits and the risks of doing something like this, what it would mean for a small community like ours. And I think it's something that we as a greater community should really consider. Because there are benefits to it, i.e. some money. That could be had to hopefully maintain some of our older buildings and not. Have them all just torn down and other newer stores put on top. So that was my comment.
Thank you. Anything else for Russell? Any more questions for us? If not, thank you, Russell. And we'll speak with me. Do we have any questions for Jim? Anything else on economic development? Okay, if not, we're gonna move on to the Saddle River Center Pavilion update, Mr. Allman.
And had a couple more meetings on the pavilion that's been proposed at the Saddle River Center, roughly 44 by 80 structure. Prints of it on one of the pictures there. We're at now, there will be bids coming out. DD bids out for construction. Bid for assembly and different things, and so once they get those bids back, DDA will then go through a process of awarding bids and then hopefully get things ready to go. They likely start construction if all goes well the day following the Rocktoberfest. So looking at October, or the first Sunday of October would be the first helpful date that they use. I think it's something that they can get done in 4 to 5 week period, and hopefully we can get that taken care of in that short period of time. So more information to come, but there will be bids going out for construction only, the labor only, because the materials are being donated.
Any questions from Mr. Owen on the pavilion? If not, we'll move on to the Village of Roscommon Sidewalk Resolution.
Okay, resolutions. From here for sidewalk on the south side of North Fourth Street, run from Shelley Street down to Edna's is what we have proposed. This sidewalk resolution would help continue to get the ball rolling and see what we can do to make that project.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve the Roscommon Sidewalk Resolution for South Fourth Street.
I make that motion. Point on. Village manager, if I can check it. That resolution. Yes. Yes, that's it.
Yeah. And about.
Right.
Okay, we got a first, can I get a second, please? Okay, we got first, second, any discussion? If not, roll call.
Miller.
Yes.
Ready? Yes. Mitchell.
Yes.
Michael.
Yeah.
Medina.
Yes.
Tebow.
Yes.
Next one will be number 7, new business, 2024 Ross County Fireworks sponsorship, Mr. Medina.
Right, last few years, the village donated with fireworks. National fireworks a year in town, and last year we donated $1,250. I can see that the equipment or greater amount, you see the attached letter. We're honoring the late Laurel Witt, who worked with fireworks for many years. So it's kind of a special year for them. And that's, donate some money.
Look for a motion to donate money to the Rockham firework contribution
Make that motion.
in the sum of $12.50. You want to do the same with the last year?
Like to see a little bit more, just recognition recognition.
Number out. What you want?
Well, a 10% increase would be at another 125, and nothing's gotten cheaper over the past year, so I'll make it at 1,500.
Okay, 1,500.
Also did that one.
Okay, and Roddy and Smith. Any more discussion?
For those of you who don't know about Laurel, Burger Mountain Gym, he has Ernest Legendary. You're on. Yeah, going out of town. Because they held a fundraiser at their house every year to raise money for those fireworks. I don't know what all they did, but they had cookout and people donated money. They went there and, got steaks or whatever it was. And it was a wonderful deal. We wouldn't have this fireworks without the police. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Any more discussion on the donation to the fireworks program? If not, roll call, please.
Yes. Bishop.
Yeah.
Keel.
Yeah.
Warren. Hicks.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item will be bylaws and procedure review. Mr. Al.
Okay, I put in your packets our council rules and procedures. We have to review that annually, not only as a good practice to do it, but it's also part of the receipt requirements. We highlighted a couple areas in that packet under special meetings where it says council must have at least a 24-hour notice. Following the Open Meetings Act, that's actually 18 hours, and so you don't have to change it. You gotta post a minimum of 18 hours. If you want more, you can. That's one thing I highlighted. 2.5, the virtual electronic meetings. When we were under the state of emergency during the COVID time, there was a change in the Open Meetings Act, how we virtual meetings were allowed and allowed to perform and stuff that. Once that state of emergency act had has expired, then you fall back to your normal meeting. So that period of 2.5 should be omitted from that section there. I think we voted on to do that last time and just didn't catch up, and so I just highlight that so we make sure we can make that correction at this time.
You also have number 4, quorum, whether it's physical present or virtual present.
Yes. Number 4. Okay.
And you want to eliminate assuming you want to eliminate the mutual present.
You're in your forum.
It's under forum.
Yes. Section 400 under forum from basically where it talks about whether they're physically present or virtually present. We can take out whether and or virtually present. They must be virtually present. Yeah. You open for any other suggestions or recommendations?
Okay. Can I get a motion to change section 2 from 24 to 18 if you'd like to? 2.5, take out the virtual meeting section. And then in 4, eliminate the wording of in weather or neutral. So may I get a motion on that, please?
I'll make a motion.
You got first, can I get a second, please? Got a first and a second. Any more discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Right, yeah. Michael?
Yes.
Debbie?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Sprinkle?
Yes.
Field?
Yes.
Okay, next item will be Lisa and Vanderbrink preliminary engineering and EDA grant application. Mr. All.
Okay, again, I mentioned this in my manager report, but that EDA grant application, what it is, it's to, it's a grant that would give us funds to put water and sewer throughout our industrial park. Water and sewer is currently in a limited area in our industrial park. We have had a number of, interest buyers wanting to go in there and put in a business and so, but when it looked at, they'd have to be responsible for the water and sewer hookup. It just wasn't feasible for them. They've got to put in so much money to run, the water and sewer. Currently, to run water and sewer, it's like $800 a foot. You know, so if you have to run that 400 feet, that's gonna set your business back right now. And for years to come. A lot of the, grants that are available for water and sewer, they're for improvements to your current system. Not necessarily are they for, extending your current system. So this is a grant that will allow both. And when you look at that industrial park, this will also be putting in curb stops, be putting in, fire hydrants and all the safety improvements. So when it's done, it's done. It's 60-40 grant. As I said, the project is going to cost around $3.5 million. And this request is tonight is when you submit that application, you have to have your topo studies and different things, you know, for our sewer system and is a gravity flow system. So that you studies to make sure that there's no pitch in there and things like that. This is to allow police and Vanderbilt to do those studies, to work with me in submitting that application, but their services would run to those studies $15,000. Without those studies, our application is no.
Can I get a motion to approve the police and Vanderbrink conduct preliminary engineering for $15,000?
I'll make that motion.
Got a first and a second, any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Woody?
Yes.
Look, Bishop?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Field?
Yes.
Ready? Yes. No.
Okay, thank you. Next item is economic development plan review. Mr. Perry.
This will be really quick. So as part of the redevelopment ready community process, we have to update these plans yearly, even though that plan was written as a 5-year plan not to expire in 2025. We have to reauthorize it with a simple vote. I did make some very generic formatting correction, but nothing of substance in that report. So it's the same one you approved a year ago, but a couple words ran together, and so we threw some spaces in there and clarified a couple things, but basically the same report. Can you add anything, Mr. Alden? No. And so you should, council members, have that in your packet, and that's what we're looking for, is just a reauthorization of our economic development plan.
Okay, I am looking for a motion to approve the Rock County Economic Development Plan as written.
I'll second.
Got a first and a second, any more discussion? If not, roll call.
Official,
Yeah.
Ready, yes, Freckles,
Yes.
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Teal.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next item will be the Fourth Street sidewalk bid. Mr. O.
Thank you. Not knowing what this, potential project was going to cost and that resolutions, and we want to give you some numbers and a little, outlook of what it would be, behind this, Fourth Street, sidewalk. A year and a half ago, I got an informal bid that it would be low thirties, 32,000, some odd change sort of thing. We had one contractor submitted a bid. It complies with any ADA compliance. Normally what they have in the new, non-existing sidewalk, but a new sidewalk with the ADA compliances, is every 200 feet, for lack of better terms, you gotta have a passing lane. Okay, so if there's a couple of wheelchairs too, they can grab them in the way that they can round it and such, or you have to have an outlet towards the road. Okay, so in that stretch, you would have to have roughly 6 of those type of setups. So if you think about on Shelley Street, we have an outlet to the road there, that's one. We may put one maybe behind Forwards or behind Family Fair or behind Edna, at the end there. That culvert that was put in, maybe that culvert is, we go with a little wider patch there as far as let that be a pass lane, and it's also two driveways along that whole section there. So this is something that that the council would approve. That's approximately what it would look like. Couple things that again that they're looking at is the current contractors that you start working on the first of June and try to get them by the end of June. But something that quite quickly here. The bid came back at $48,000. It was higher than what I was expecting, but not totally surprised. I wish we had a couple more bids to compare. You only have a bid of that size, so we gotta have 3 bids to move on, but a lot of these contractors they're just booked, so anyway, we received the one, and I'll open up the council for suggestions and direction.
Okay, looking for a direction from the council, if you'd like to make a motion to approve the sidewalk bid, or make a motion to table, we can work bid sheet, you can do that.
Well, I'll start. I think it's, sidewalks evidence, from the FIT report are important. And, Tony and I were down at, the whole Lakewood. And the first thing that came up was not trafficable by foot. And, people were afraid to walk on the roads, traffic at high speed. Probably don't have the same effect down here on a side road, but sidewalks are important for not only for people that are in the area shopping, but also for our residents. So I think it's a safety feature it's a good pursuit.
Along that same line, one of the reasons why we picked that stretch is that in Sheldon Street to Edna, there are no side.
Yeah, I was just down there looking at that today, or yesterday.
And during the winter, especially, as your roads become a little narrow, you come to the snow, you have walking along the side of the road, trying to carry the groceries or whatever. So
A lot of children down in that area, which is absolutely.
Cool.
I want to say about the handicap parking or handicap passing, if you go 5 foot or greater, you don't need that. But I would like to add that the bid we have, the fifth consulting, it's a pretty thorough bid. I've never really seen that kind of in depth Putting a hand railing on the creek. Regular ditch, but
That was my question, is this for the small, so we have talked about larger and smaller. Sidewalk, is this for the smaller size?
yes, this is a 4 foot wide sidewalk. And we're in, I'll say the pastor we want to be able to go to 6 foot. Yeah, I think you have that number 6 foot by 6 foot, that's what the T units are in that area. The T unit on the pass.
Then it looks like the pad that goes over that culvert's gonna be a 6 foot wide
Yeah,
pad as well.
yes. With a railing on the water side. And the reason why they decided to go with this cement over that, we talked about stopping in and having bridge work. So. You know, it just, when your machine is a spinner, if you go keep your eye on the sidewalk to the wood, how much the get chipped up or whatever, but keep the machine on that.
Okay. Can I get a motion to?
I've got one more, right before the meeting, you know, I posted the agenda online. I'm kind of helping out, coming just before the meeting, right before I left it. Contact or message me. "Hey, sidewalk line forward, you know, how can I bid on it? It was already bid, already closed, you know, I'm not supposed to bid. So I think I put the amount online, but even well, how much? Because I think it's kind of steep, he said, well, I thought my copy of that, and he said, well, I think, the people think it was just a flat sidewalk, and then once it's all the excavation work and filters and all that, he said, that's pretty much about on until they bring it up. So that's probably, you know, probably not gonna get much better than what we have. Like, what?
So what is the council's movement here? Can I get a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve this one too. Yeah, also.
Got a first and a second, any discussion? If not. Roll call.
Yes. Mitchell.
Yeah.
Miller.
Yeah.
Schmeckel. Yes. Evil.
Yes.
Martin. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next item is Savage Property Development. Mr. Alden.
I had the pleasure of sitting down with Jim and I did actually talking to Ryan and his wife about a plan they have. And I guess at this point, if you want to come up to the podium and kind of share your thoughts.
Thank you. I'm Ryan Savage, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about kind of a plan for the property over there across from Lear. Thank you. Mr. Perales got this for me. I don't know if you want to hold it, you know. If I were nice, I'd hold it for you. So the property that I'm interested in buying is it's called the Tiny Home Development B, right behind the Ford's propane over there in the mixed use lot. And what our plan is, thank you. What our plan is for that is to build duplexes, 2 bedroom, 2 bath duplexes, 2 story with a basement. The bottom would be all ADA compliant, so handicap, the whole 9 yards could go in there. The top story would not have it. And with the 2.5 acres, we're hoping to get up to 4 units on that property. To make it more beneficial for us and for the community. And we're looking, I haven't talked to Jim Letts about that 100%, and it's obviously very early for everything. We still need to figure out the water situation, the sewer situation, power and all that. But I've been talking, like Mr. Allen said, with him and Mr. Perales to get that stuff figured out. And we're also working with Mr. Perales about grants and low interest loans. I'll pay for it. It would all be my personal buildings. But they can help kind of to help with the grants, how to find them, locate them, stuff like that. It's all affordable housing. And
my plan is, another reason why I wanted to come up here, and I know this is a little premature, but I wanted to also. Let you guys know, my plan is after I buy the 2.5 acres and we start actual building. My plan would be to buy more, if possible, of the property to build more in the future. And Mr. Alden kind of brought that up earlier, someone interested in buying a couple parcels of property, how much it would cost, to actually buy it close to the whole 20 acres. We haven't made that decision yet because we have to make a certain building. But I just kind of want to let you guys know what our plan is and go from there. And if you guys have any questions, you can ask me. But as right now, the plan is duplexes and possibly in the future, maybe putting just single family residents more closer to the creek and bumping those up to 3 or 4 bedroom units. Or houses, not units, because those are just be single family, not duplexes. Making those for larger families, you know, something more appealing. I would. My clientele, the tenants, I would look for. Teachers, law enforcement, people who are working in the community. Would be my first wants, I guess, as far as tenants, people who are moving here for work. Things of that nature.
You know, the one thing that when we sit down with Ryan, MEDC already has the blueprints. You know, and the different styles that you can pick from. And they're quite attractive little places. They do look like little homes.
Yeah, they look great.
And so it was one of the first most difficult decision for you know, wife to figure out what blueprint you like that, then you know, and the nice thing about that, they've already been approved, so if you have to go in for funding now, you're using one of their approved prints, so that's.
And the nice thing about these units are, they're, like I was saying, 2 bedroom, 2 bath, but there are pretty much many houses. They have their own washing machine. They come with their own, in the basement level, they come with their own specific area for like of what you use the basement for, storage, stuff like that. Then kind of what I also want to talk to you guys about was parking and things like that. Over here on Yale Road. My plan was to. Yale Road, I don't know if everyone knows where Yale Road is, but Lear's over here and it's that little 2 train. That comes up into the woods. My plan would be. To start the parking here and kind of go 4 corners with the houses. And that way I could have a parking area, community parking area, and then. Like a community lawn as well, and put in a small carport for everyone. I don't know, just try to make it so people would want to actually go there. I want to make them nice places where people can call. Is the plan.
You know, right, and I'm seeing plans like this, where you have that road go in, and you put a plan like a long cul-de-sac in there, and then everyone swings off all of that, and that still gives them distance enough, you know.
Oh, yes.
And as far as with that, that would reassure that emergency vehicles can have my standing in there and stuff like that versus 4 different driveways.
Yes. We'll call it that, so.
Would these be then new, big people with rents?
Yes,
of the-
they would be my personal home, well, not my personal home, I would own the property and the homes and then they would rent from me and my wife. Me and my wife do already have a rental company. It is called Savage Investment Properties. And so we do have, background, I guess you would say, in that. And, that's, yeah, so I would rent them out a year lease, 2-year lease. And I'm pretty flexible when it comes to that. So as far as teachers and police officers, I would make exceptions if they wanted to only be there for lease, things like that. You know what I'm saying? I want to try to make it so people who come to work for the community have the option to live there. And that they would take precedent over, you know, other people.
So the units really small, like you.
1,200 square feet.
Oh.
So each housing unit would be, it's a 30 by 40 building. And each unit would be 1,200 square feet. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty, I would think. Pretty decent size, and that Ms. Prales sent over some prints that were already pre-approved, like Ms. Owens said. And so we just picked we picked two to send the contractors, make quotes. And that's still in process. But yeah, 1,200 square feet, lady space, plus it ends up being about a third of the basement that they would get, because third for mechanicals from the home, furnace, air conditioner, water, stuff like that. And then a third for each.
So is there a plan B or an alternate design or drawing that is on a slant foundation or crawl?
So-
That the water table is too high?
Yeah, there is drawings that he sent over that do have slabs and crawls, and those aren't plan Bs, like you said. I just was. Like, that's something that I need to speak to Jim Letts about, so. And I haven't spoken to him yet, but that's something I need to talk to him about, and I need to speak to him about. The amount of units I can put on the 2.5 acres. Because right now, we do not have city sewer. We only have access to the city water, which is no problem. But with the amount of units we want to put on that property compared to the septic system we have to put in, you know, it gets a little touchy, and we haven't figured that out.
Field and septic.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as the crawl space, I am a licensed plumber and I'm a mechanical license too. I would definitely want the crawl space.
That you could put your horizontal utilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Heating and,
Slab isn't even. I don't want to say it's not an option, but it's really something I don't want.
yeah, still.
So we're looking at cement base foundation, no
Cement.
wood foundations.
Yeah.
Does wood foundations have?
Yeah, no wood foundations, either poured or block foundation. Depending on, you know, what Jim lets me do and what the contractor that I'm dealing with recommends. You know, plumbing, heating is what I do, not doing it. So I'm gonna listen to them for their recommendations and, you know, kind of weigh which one be best.
My next question is rent. How are you gonna be competitive in the area? You be
So,
lower case level, or how are we gonna possibly do that?
So-
Which one?
yeah, so what my plan, I personally think that lower rents are better for everyone, and that's they're hung out right now. Our rent in general is on average lower for tenants than the average for around here. But with the amount of money I'm putting into it, it'll kind of depend on how much. Whatever, if the mortgage is, you know, a $400,000 mortgage, then that's gonna have to raise the rent, because I'll have to be able to at least break even, so I'm not going in the hole for it. So I would like to keep it as low as possible without going in the hole.
So you're gonna keep it low possible and competitive
Yes, yeah.
for buy mortgages.
Yes, my goal is to make it so people would move in and stay for a period of time. I don't want people to be moving out, preferably, you know, every 6 months, every year. If I could keep them there for multiple years, it's beneficial.
Yeah, wonderful.
Right, were all these prints, 2 bedroom, 2 bath?
All the prints that I asked Mr. P, so previously when we spoke, we could have actually talked about even quadplexes. But with the amount of money that I have for it now, and with grants that are still kind of unknown, I figured we'd stick with the duplexes, because that is something if we had to, what we could pay for. So that is the only reason why we stuck with the duplexes and a 2 bedroom, because the more square footage, things like that, the more expensive they get. But we could potentially go all the way up to, you know, quadplexes with 3 bedrooms. In the future, that's something that the community needs.
I was thinking go smaller, go in a 1 bedroom.
The problem.
Single guy or from a woman.
Yeah, so the way I think about it, and I have nothing to substantiate this, but the way I think about it is. If you go with just 1 bedroom, it's hard for any family or friends to come over. And with at least 2 bedrooms, if it's an elderly couple. They'll have a bedroom for their grandkids. If it's a teacher, they'll have a bedroom. If they wanna split the rent with another teacher, they have the option to do that. But I just, 1 bedroom. For me personally, I would think it wouldn't be as, you know, it wouldn't be as good. As a 2 bedroom, and for the amount of money we would be saving, I just don't think it'd be as rentable. For,
You know, with the last few years of people working remote, telework, that oftentimes becomes an office anyhow, or a small fitness, you know, gym or something when we have that, so. 2 bedroom, even for a single guy or gal, might not be bad.
Any more questions for Mr. Savage?
oh, thank you,
Thank you, sir. Let us know if there's any next one you bring.
I definitely will, thank you very much.
That next item is discussion item. I put down, I want to talk about the Great Lakes bill for the sidewalk pretty. Of the sidewalk area. My question is. Great work, the bill would be great. I just don't see in the minutes and stuff where it was approved, I can't stop right now. I saw approved up to 25, but there's not an actual bill. That was my question, my concerns, not the board's. And also, in this situation. As a council. We hired Ron 2 years ago to be the street administrator for all projects. This falls under projects, so it should have been Ron talking to him, not a council member at my position, I think. I appreciate what you did, Tony, but it should have come back to the council, said, hey, this wasn't worked on. Let's get it moving forward. You kind of cross some bridges at that level. You know, I'm just saying, it need to come back to the council and decide what to. Mr. Kurt doesn't know what's going on. Jen wasn't here when all that stuff went down. It'd been nice to have the understanding from the council what was going on. So I think you overstepped.
Well, like I said, 2 year project, I've talked with, maybe, I don't know, this guy would have been a little more prepared and had emails and all that in the past, but. He called this up and asked why this hasn't been doing nothing, a lot of time, effort into it, this has been going on for 2 years. Every time I brought it up, the village manager kind of, oh, I can't get hold of contractor, it's hitting there, this and that. Well, I just had enough and, you know. Council ordered it, passed it unanimously, it's kind of my project and I called Great Lakes. Asphalt or whatever, they met me that same day. Ran some numbers, gave me a start day, and then I emailed you guys and never got an email back about it. So if you would have said something, I would have called off and we could have brought it up this month, but. No, you never responded to this one. But.
Actually, I did respond when I said, thank you, and I will turn the bill in. But also by the time we would have had this council meeting.
No, you didn't respond to this email, you responded to the bill, they didn't respond to this one, said. You dated, right on top, Tuesday, May 28th. Want me to read it?
You'd like to?
I won't read it, but, just say you never responded to that, and that was before it started, I figured everything was good. Like I said, it's been 2 years and. Village manager works for the council, so. You know, if, let's say, you got a job, boss tells you to do something. And the employee refuses to do it. I mean, either the guy who you fired, the boss are gonna do it, somebody else is gonna have to do it.
So you took it upon yourself as acting as a council member to go above the street with the general manager.
But the
to
council,
do the job.
the council approved it though, and the general manager, he works for the council, wasn't doing it. After the council, you know, it's been 2 years.
Have you contacted Mr. Alden about this? If he has not contacted another firm to do anything, or contacted Great Lakes?
I've contacted him several times. And if we go, and you should have went back and listened, I'm sure Frank, you have a recording of that, if they're recordings.
They're gonna be here tomorrow.
We could go back and listen to what it said, and it was, hire Great Lakes asphalt and steel coating, up to $2,500. They supported the idea.
I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying the way it was handled should be handled through the manager of the village,
Well, I'm just
not
saying,
a council member.
well, the way
Procedures need to be done and the procedure has to work.
when we did the procedure, when I brought a proposal forward,
Yep.
I gave a presentation, council passed it unanimously, and the village manager failed to do it after 2 years. So I took it upon myself as a council member elected by the people of this village, you complete it, and we got a lot of compliments on it.
Yeah, well, that's negative stuff too, so, not to say anything on that, but the catch is, we hired Ron to be the village manager. This is his job to do. We're not micromanaging him, we don't tell him what to do, and he does it.
So how?
So if some guys let through on projects, fell through, maybe Dre Lake couldn't do it that time, he scheduled another date, couldn't do it. We don't know that, because we don't have any information on that. All the information I have is you call Great Lakes. You told them to do it, and it's to be done on July 1st. Or June 1st, what you told them.
May 30th.
No, they said it'll be done by June 1st for the Kirkland Mortar Fest.
That's the work will be completed this Thursday, May 30th.
Well, sorry, June 1st, the next day. But the catch is, it didn't go through Ron, and the procedures should go through Ron on anything we're doing in the village. Because technically, no, they did not.
Years ago, when we passed it,
Tony,
you get?
What was passed 2 years ago, it's gonna be big.
No,
I have it right here
so,
in the recording,
in the minute.
you listen. I'm gonna read the email. I'm reading the email. Dear President, and okay, this is dated Tuesday, May 28th. And I included Ron Alden, Jim Perry Ellis, and Village President Mike Miller. Dear President Miller, you may recall nearly 2 years ago, council unanimously approved $2,500 for crosswalk striping in the downtown corridor. To date, this project has not been completed. Due to the lengthy delay, I took the initiative to contact Great Lakes Asphalt Field Authority myself to follow through with this project. They promptly got back with me. The work will be completed this Thursday, May 30th, 2024. The streets listed as high priority in the attached proposal, as well as 3 barred crosswalks on North Fourth Street and Edna, will be completed with $2,500. It'll be great to have this project finally completed and will increase pedestrian safety, further enhance the walkability of our downtown area. Just in time for the Kirkland Memorial Festival. The crosswalk will also be a nice feature for the proposed social district. Which I was wondering why it wasn't on the agenda. Also, I would like to add for clarity, the minutes dated 7/11/22 are incorrect. The highlighted motion should read, motion to hire Great Lakes Asphalt and Seal Coating up to $2,500 in crosswalk striping. I'm the one that made the motion, I remember. You will see in the following month's minutes dated 8/8/22, it reads, crosswalk markings, proceeding, just waiting to get together with contractors. That was a statement made by the village manager. The minutes don't reflect that, but once again, I remember. The statement implies the project was indeed approved. Well, I'm gonna read the statement again. Crosswalk marking proceeding, just waiting to get together with contractors. The statement implies the project was indeed approved. Perhaps the July 11th, 2022 minutes should be amended. For details on how to amend something that's already been approved, see Robert's Rules of Order. Go forward, use the invoice upon completion to be included in the bill to be paid for June's regular meeting. Thank you for operation in this matter, Tony D.
so technically, if it's to be amended, the following month is when you make corrections on your minutes. Nothing was said at that next meeting.
But maybe I didn't catch it at the time.
Well, the catch is, Tony, I'm speaking at this time, please let me have the floor. So at that point in time, that's when it should have been corrected. Not 2 years later. So also on the point, it says, makes the motion to get a quote to repaint white cross marking. It doesn't say anything about anything else except for in that minute of the public knowledge. In the rating of what's going on, that's what it states. It doesn't say who was awarded to or the value of it. It says up to $2,500. As a public, paying for a public service out of public money, I want to know the exact amount, who's doing it, and what they're doing it for, and what streets and how much they're doing it. Right, nice feeling. I'm sorry, I don't mind. We're gonna pay the bill. But the catch is, let Ron do his job. Don't take it upon yourself to do everybody's work.
Somebody's gotta do it.
I think everybody's doing fine.
Just have a question, I just have a clarify, just want to clarify something. So Tony sent this on Tuesday, May 28th. The work wasn't going to be done until Thursday, May 30th.
Yep.
From Tuesday, May 28th to Thursday, May 30th, did anyone reply to him and say,
this is not how to proceed, please call and cancel this.
I did not, because I was not in town.
Okay. Neither Ron nor Jim, nobody. No, okay.
It's 2 days. Notice.
To stop a project like that, and also, if we'd have noticed it and we did it and Ron had did his job, we would have set the direction of how, what roads we pull it down. At one time, I was driving through the town to leave town, they were right here at George Street, the core buses had to back down the road to get out, because they had the street closed out. If it had been a coordinated program, with an everyone involved in an organized property and safety wise. But if you find yourself taking it, it's not understandable of the safety area of it. So there's a lot of people invested in it, and a lot of people ask questions, why we didn't do more streets? Just, we did a very hand few.
Did we do all the streets that were originally talked about being done or no?
From my knowledge, yes, we have.
Well, this is how it went down. I remember, I got these quotes, I was kind of. In
Yes.
package here.
Yeah.
But when I did this project, I just kind of got an estimate for kind of like measure the road, and I just kind of did. It was listed as high priority. And I figured we could see 33634 or something. I just figured if we can. I just want to get like an estimate by over 1,200 feet. But then during discussion, I kind of had to, I don't know if the max in there too, the high priority, low priority. I kind of made the map with the high priority, low priority. And during the meeting, we just, the road was just $2,500, and whenever that gets done. We can get done. So we started with the high priority ones. And it was 2 years ago, the real price is fine, you know. They did all the high priority ones.
So I just wanted to bring up my opinion of, well, we should ask them the council how proceedings should work as a bidding process. It should be done by one person, not by an individual, because no one knows what the other guy is doing. So we hired Ron as street administrator, June of 2022. That's his job. Let Ron do his job.
Well, when was they planning on getting it done?
If you let Ron, if you would call Ron and ask him, he's talked to a couple guys, and he had some
like
like,
seven one drive, I haven't been in all this meeting, what's going on with this, you know? I get strung along, I think it's because I want his idea, so, you know, I have a lot.
yeah, I guess for the village around, not individual.
Mine, then, not all the lawyers, legality, the liability.
So any other questions? And any more discussion on this? If not, let's move on to the next section. The next section will be public knowledge, 2 minutes per speaker. Anybody? Good morning.
Walk up there. You could just let my coat really low down.
Thank you all very much. I do know many of you here, but for those who don't know me, my name is Kim Morland. And I'm here tonight to let you know that I'm running to serve as your next county commissioner for District 2. I'm not running because I'm angry. I'm not running because I have a specific agenda to fix. There's a lot. I'm running because I care. I care about this county. I'm a business owner. I served 9 years on our school board. This community and the longevity of what we have to the children that will be here long after us is very important to me. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time tonight. I do have cards with my personal cell phone and my information. So I really encourage each of you to reach out, ask me questions. As somebody who's been in the political world for a while, I truly believe it's important to know as much as you can about your candidates. I won't lie to you. I won't tell you something just to get you right. If I make a wrong decision, I won't have to it. I don't point fingers and I don't blame other people. So as a county commissioner, your primary job is the budget. Using our tax dollars wisely. And I believe that we need to put the needs of our county before we do the wants. And those aren't always easy decisions because we all want things.
But if we don't have strong goals of where we wanna be, how we're gonna get there, and an action plan to get there, just like you guys have to do for the village. Then we waste a lot of time and energy on things that don't get us to move forward. I would ask that you evaluate your commissioner, me or whomever, on how much we've accomplished. Not how much we've talked and not how much we've argued, but how much we've done. So thank you for your time tonight. It was very interesting, and we have cards. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Swarth. Any more public comments? Linda? Susan?
Hi, Linda Meisler. So just an opinion about putting things on your website compared to Facebook. To me, Facebook is a place to go for entertainment. It's great that there may be something in there that's pertinent to the village. But anytime I'm looking for any direction or information, I go to a website that I know is controlled by, you know, whoever is in charge. Not always, Facebook sometimes is, not that it's not accurate, but there's a lot of talking going on and a lot of information that creates discussion that isn't always necessary. So just in my opinion, I appreciate the things from your website. Today I missed the agenda, so wasn't on there. The agenda was the packet wasn't. So I know everybody gets busy, not because that, everybody gets busy. And that's my opinion on Facebook compared to a personal business website, anybody's personal website about elections or businesses.
Thank you. Anybody else on 2 minutes? If not, we'll move on to the next section. Council comments, Mr. Medina.
I just want to say that communication is still terrible around here. I got about 10% reply rate, can email or phone calls or anything like that. There's a couple of employees that are good about that, a few of them that are not so good about it. I try not to take it personal because basically, you know, it's a drought that you until one for response. I hear from many people, and other council members that just bad communication and something we should work on.
Thank you, Mr. Medina. Maureen?
Lots of things to talk about, but Russ, I appreciate your demonstration on historic district. I think that is a marvelous idea. So worth pursuing, in my opinion.
Daniel?
Okay, well, I've cut my 49 comments down to one.
Hey, sir.
Okay, so last week, the Resorter wanted an article about the Chase Bank being torn down and the whole Lake Branch. Now, that whole thing started right here in Roscommon in 1907. Unfortunately, we have one of the Roscommon State Banks that's building across the street. It was there, it had just moved in there. I came here in 1974, and I think it moved in there in 72. But the bank at one time, the president was the mayor of Lansing. And he had been the mayor of Lansing, and so was his father, Orlando F. Barnes. He owned South Branch Ranch. And he had a degree from the University of Michigan. He was also South Branch Township supervisor. And at that time, the average education of anybody was 8th grade. And his wife had a degree from Vassar, which is the women's college at Harvard. Yeah. But anyway, they had a man come in here. Well, first of all, the first bank was started where this on the corner here in traffic light where the bulk food store is. That's where it was. Of course, that was torn down. And then they had space up the street because I read in the Grayling paper around 1899. They said, we're really sorry to announce that our friends down Roscommon lost some buildings over the weekend. Burglars broke into W.B. Orchid's hardware store. He had a lot of money and he was one of the founders of the bank. And they broke in and blew the safe and burned out that whole block clear down to the railroad traction right across the street from the Spruce Lodge. And that bank is still there. They built that in 1913, sat there for all those years empty. And at the same time, Andy Price built that what was the heart. So they built that all in 1913. But there were banks. I'll quick run through these. I'll only take a second. I won't hold it. There were, when I came here, there was a bank in Hope Lake, Riverville, Higgins Lake, Milliken, the village of Roscommon, which is across the street, Ohio, St. Helens, and Fairview. They had branch offices all over the place, and then they just started to decline, and we have none now. I mean, we have buildings, but at least we have two of the buildings, the original Roscommon State Bank, which, like I said, was started in 1907. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
I don't know
Mrs.
if I can
Michael?
follow that up. I just wanna, thank the council for gathering each month to work out the things that we need to work out. Appreciate seeing all the people in the audience today and everyone sharing their opinions. Anything else? Oh, and I love what's going on in the community garden. I can't wait for it to have more time so I can actually come and take a look around, which, yeah, it's wonderful.
So, the only thing I would say is that, in my short tenure living in the village and then now being part of the team here, is that, I'm pretty impressed with the amount of effort put into searching and seeking out grants and ways to make the community better. It's, I grew up in a small town on a dairy farm, small village for years. And, I go back to that town and visit my family, and it's nowhere near the progress that we have here. So give great credit to everybody that's putting effort forward on finding those grants and bringing that money in to help everyone.
Okay, I would like to say, thank you for Russ for his presence on the historical area, and thank you for all the work you've done in the village for a short month you've been here. You're doing a great asset. Council, thank you for meeting and once a month to discuss items and figure out the plans for the community. Residents, thank you for coming, and any other questions, please contact us. Remember, Mr. Savage, good luck with your building. Okay. Deb, thank you for all the work you do at the DPW, and tell the gentleman up there, they're doing a great job. Okay, next item, items for agenda. Any items for agenda?
I'll have to vote and see, I'll do a new year budget review. And we're going to find, there's been type of plan we have to review or not. That is based on something, say good, if you want that one. I'm not sure.
Sidewalk, okay, problem.
Yeah. And we next month.
No more items? Look for a motion to adjourn. Got a first, can I get a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion for, thank you for meeting to adjourn. Thank you guys for all coming. It's.